Hello guys, welcome to Small Samuel Maths Tutorials. So today we'll be focusing on statistics for grade 11, but for what? For table, which is on question 2. So I just listed all the questions that you're going to out of the questions which are mostly asked at question 2. So remember question 2 we have table and archive. So now I'm just going to only explain the table part. Then when we are done with it, there will be another video whereby I'll be explaining the archive, because we are only left with archive after explaining this one. So the questions, as you can see, the first one is complete the frequency and the cumulative frequency. The second one is how many people participate in a certain event. Write down the modal class, estimate the average, right? So with the example there whereby we're given the age of person in survey, the frequency and the cumulative frequency. So we are going to answer all of those questions that I listed using this example. So the first question says, the examiner can ask the question like this. As you are given the frequency now, so obviously you cannot say complete the frequency. So the examiner will say complete the cumulative frequency table. So how do we complete the cumulative frequency table? This is how we complete the cumulative frequency table. The first number that you see on your frequency, right, we can see that from the first interval is 20 to 30, right? So meaning, and then from the frequency, the first number is what? It's 7. We take it the way it is, right? So meaning from the cumulative frequency, we are going to write what? 7. I will explain why we take it the way it is. It's going to be 7. Therefore, after writing it down, you're going to say the cumulative frequency which you got, it's what? It's 7 plus 20, which is the frequency here. Then it's going to give us what? 27 here. Then after, you're going to say 27 plus what? 25, which is 52. Right? Then after, it's going to be 52 plus 60, which is going to give us 64. Then 64 plus 8 is going to give us 72. 72 plus 4 is going to give us 76, and then 76 plus 4 is going to give us 8. So meaning, how do we calculate the cumulative frequency? It's simple, guys. You check the first the frequency that you are given. If it's 7, you write it down. Remember that this frequency, it represents what? The number of people which they participate in a certain event. So you write it down. We have 7 people here. That's why we wrote the cumulative frequency whereby it's 7. Therefore, after 7, from the second interval, we can see that we have 20, right? So we need to add that 20 with what? With 7, so that we can get what? 27. So meaning now we have 27 people which are participating in what? In the age of person in the survey. Then after we take that 27, we add it with what? 25. Then we're going to get what? 52, meaning now we have 52 people, and then so on until 2 meaning now we have 80 people. So meaning the cumulative frequency is about the total number of people which participate in a certain event, right? So we are done with calculating the cumulative frequency. So the examiner now knows that, okay, people know now how to calculate the cumulative frequency. So let me see whether do they understand this cumulative frequency. That's where he does something like this and requires us to complete the frequency and cumulative frequency. Let's check it. Okay guys, so this is how the examiner is going to do now. He knows that you know how to calculate the cumulative frequency, so he will no longer give you all of the frequency table. So now he will ask you to complete the frequency and the cumulative frequency, which is the first question that I've listed. So how do we do it? We know that, okay, so meaning now we need to find what? A, B, C, and D, right? So how do we find A? Remember, the only way we can find A, I said that the number which is written here from A, right? Not from A, the number which is the first from the cumulative frequency, whereby we can see that it's 7. We know that we took it the way it is from what? From the frequency. So meaning our A is going to be what? Our A is going to be 7, right? Why? Because we know that the first frequency here, we take it the way it is, and then we write it from where? From our cumulative frequency table. So meaning if it's 7 here, obviously even here is going to be what? 7. So what is B? Right? What is B? We can see that B is going to be 27 plus 25. We know how to do this one. We're familiar with 8, which is the cumulative frequency. Therefore, it's going to give us 52. Then now they want us to calculate C. So now what is C? How do we calculate C? Remember, whenever we calculate the frequency table, we do what? We add the cumulative frequency with what? With the frequency, right? So this is how you're going to solve for C. This is how you're going to solve for C. You're going to say, okay, my answer now is 76, meaning we added 72 plus C, then it gave us what? 76. So it's going to be something like 72 plus C, which is equals to 76. Therefore, you solve for C. Therefore, 76 minus 72 is going to give us what? It's going to give us 4. So meaning our C here, it's what? It's 4. Do you guys get it? Oh, I forgot something here. Let's say this one is D. It's E. Let's say it's E. Yeah. So now let's solve for this E. How do we solve for it? We now have B, which is 52, and we know that to get this value here, which is 64, we need to add 52 with what? With E. So meaning it's going to be 52 plus E, whereby is equals to 64, right? Therefore our E is going to be 64 minus 52 is going to give us, our E is going to give us 12. You see how we solve for frequency whenever we're given the cumulative frequency. So this is how we solve it, guys. So lastly, for D, we can solve it in for D, obviously we know that it's going to be 76 plus 4, which is going to give us 8. Then we are done. I hope now you do understand how to calculate the frequency and also the cumulative frequency. So now let's go to question 2. Okay, so for question 2, the question says how many people participate in a certain event. So remember that now we know what is this event. So the question will say how many people participate in this survey, right? So how do you get that number, the total one? Remember I said cumulative frequency represent what? The total number of people which participate in that survey. And we can see that our last number is what? It's 8. So meaning people who participate in this event is going to be 8, right? Then you are done. So meaning whenever they want you to calculate the cumulative the number of people which participate in a certain event, it's all about adding the frequency, all of it, then the final answer is the total number of people. Because remember, whenever we talk about the cumulative frequency, we talk about the number of people, right? So now to question 3, it says write down the model class. How do you check the model class? It's simple, guys. Whenever we check the model class, remember whenever we talk about the model class, we talk about the most class, right? We talk about the most class, yeah. So how do you find? So the easiest way to find the model class is to check the highest frequency, right? Is to check what? The highest frequency. So meaning whenever you are determining or whenever you are writing down the model class, you are going to check the highest frequency. So from the table that we are given, what is the highest frequency? We can see that the highest frequency is what? Is 25, right? So meaning our model class is what? Is 25. But then we're not going to write 25. We take the interval of it, which is 40 to what? To 50, right? So meaning our answer is going to be 40 is less than or equals to greater than 50, which is going to be something like this. It's going to be this interval, right? Whereby it's from 40 to 50. So you now know how to determine what the model class. Whenever they want you to determine the model class, you check what? The highest frequency, then you check what? Then you, after finding the highest frequency, you are going to write its interval. Because now we can see that from the 25, the highest frequency is 25. And the interval of 25 is what? It's 40 to 50. So lastly, estimate the average. Remember guys, from the first lesson of statistics, we talked about the average. I said, sometimes the examiner will say estimate the average because he already know that you know what is the average, you know what is mean. So he wants to trick you. Now he says estimate the average. He no longer say estimate the mean because he knows that if he can say estimate the mean or calculate the mean, you're going to get it. But then if he says estimate the average, you're going to get confused. But then it's the same thing. The average and mean is the same thing. So from grade 11, how do we estimate the average? Okay guys, from the age of person in survey, we can see that we have the interval from 20 to 30. We have only 7 people here, and then from 30 to 40 we have only 20 people. From 40 to 50 we have 25 people. 50 to 60 we have 12. 60 to 70 we have 8, right? So this is how we determine the mean, how we estimate the mean. Remember, whenever we're estimating the mean, giving a data set, we're adding all the data set and divide by what? By the total number of the data set. So what you are going to do here, you choose any number between 20 and 29. You don't choose a between 21, I mean, and 30. Right? So meaning you are going to choose any number between 21 and 30. And also here, if you choose, for instance, 25, meaning here you have to also choose what? 35. So like for instance, this is how we determine the average mean. For 20 to 30, I prefer choosing 25. You choose any number, you can choose 21, 29, 28. Therefore, but then after using, like I chose 25, therefore I'm going to multiply it with what? How many people got from 20 to 30 or participate in the survey? There are only 7 people, right? So therefore multiply by 7 and I add, then I come to the second one. Cause remember from this one I chose 25, so meaning from also this one my interval has to be by 5, so meaning it has to be, because it's 30 to 40, then I'm going to choose 35 multiply by how many people? There are 20 people, plus 40 to 50. Obviously I go by the width of what? Of 5, so meaning I'm going to add 40 to 5, therefore 40 to 5, and then it's going to give us 45 multiply by what? How many people are there? It's 25, plus, therefore for 50 I'm going to add what? 50 with 5, therefore it's going to give us 55 multiply by 12, therefore plus 65 multiply by 8 plus 75 multiply by 4 plus 85 multiply by 4, which it will give me 3,820. I mean, it's going to give me 3,820. Then you're not done. After getting this feed, you are going to divide it with the total number of people which participate in that certain event. We know that the total number of those people is what? It's 8. So meaning it's going to be 3,820 divided by what? By 8, which is going to give us 47.75. Right, so this is how we estimate the average. So you can also choose, let's say you choose 21, therefore it's going to be 21 multiplied by 7 plus 31 multiplied by 20 plus 41 multiplied by 25. If you choose 22 from the first interval, therefore it's going to be 22 multiplied by 7 plus 32. You need to go by the width of 2. If you chose let's say 29, therefore it means you need to go by the width of 9, so meaning it's going to be 29, 39, 49, 59, like etc, while multiplying by what? By the number of people. So from 25 we know that we have 7 people, that was going to be 25 multiplied by 7. From 30 to 40 you can see that we have 20 people, therefore if you choose let's say 25 like me, then it's going to be 35 multiplied by what? The number of people which they are 20. Then we are done with the statistic for grade level, which is for table. So now if you have any question, you can leave a comment behind. Danko is thank you.